37 weeks, going on 38 weeks on Saturday. And I just wanted to do like a little recap video of steps that I'm taking to help prepare for our home birth. Just as something I want to remember for our next pregnancy and into the future. So, man, where to even start? I don't know why I had this like image in my head that it was just going to be like smooth sailing towards the end, but constipation has been, we'll just start off like just diving right in. Constipation has been unreal. It definitely gets uncomfortable. I was pretty regular up until a few weeks ago, and then this is just like maybe me who may be thinking this, but I'll have days where I feel a lot of movement, and then I'll have a couple days where the movement kind of backs off, like it's still there. I still pay attention to the kick counts, but then like on the third or fourth day it'll kick back up again, so it's kind of like a slow down, increase, decrease. So I've definitely been paying attention to that, but I've seen that it tends to fold with constipation when I'm feeling more bloated. If you've watched my other videos, I have an interior placenta, so my placenta's in the front, and I think with the placenta and the bloat from the constipation, I just tend to feel a little bit less movement. That's just in my head. I don't know how much truth there is to that, but it ultimately makes sense because when I do go to the bathroom, I tend to feel a lot more movement. So I was talking to my midwife the other day, and the exercise has come down a lot. I'm still stretching, but the exercise has definitely taken the back seat. I've just been so tired. Briar caught a little congestion cold this week, and then I picked it up, and Austin just picked it up. So I've been trying to battle that, like being pregnant, not being able to breathe, not being able to poo. Like it's a concoction of things over here. So I've just been trying to survive that. And then you're also in this mindset where you want to make sure that the house is always clean because you never know when baby's going to come, and you don't want to have to worry about cleaning the house or having the house be clean. But truthfully, that's like the last thing that I should be worrying about. But my midwife, I was talking to her about constipation, and she recommended a half a cup of coffee, half a cup of prune juice, both warm, and then you add in a slab of butter. And I tried it today for the first time because the constipation got pretty bad, and it worked like a charm. So if you're looking for a more natural remedy, half a 1-to-1, because I wanted to have an actual cup of coffee after that. So 1-to-1, I did half a cup of prune juice, half a cup of coffee, and a slab of butter. And sure enough, the constipation was relieved. So that has been an experience in itself. But let me think. I did have a wee bit of hip pain. There was one night where I was so uncomfortable. It was incredibly uncomfortable. And I realized that I was just holding my toddler so much on my right hip, and that's what was causing it, because I was like, okay, I'm gonna pick him up less, and if I do pick him up, I'm either gonna hold him there in the middle or on the left side. And I have not had hip pain since then. So that has been awesome. So I'll just take the constipation, I guess, if that's the most uncomfortable thing going into the end of this. Sleeping is whatever at this point. I'm definitely waking up multiple times per night, either to go pee or just to adjust myself. I would say co-sleeping maybe has a factor, but regardless of how I sleep or who sleeps next to me, it's still uncomfortable. We're just getting to that part where you're just feeling very big, and I'm definitely a side sleeper, or I would say a side sleeper and a back sleeper. So how I sleep on my back in pregnancy is I'll slide like a pillow underneath kind of my butt cheek and my leg, and that kind of lifts my body up on one side to not put too much pressure on my back, and that's how I tend to sleep. Definitely feeling a bit more tired, more days than others, but I feel like the tired and the uncomfortable sleeping are just natural things that come along with it. I do not have gestational diabetes, but I did notice some of my, there will be moments, this happened exactly, that's why I think we're having another boy, like this happened exactly in my last pregnancy, where I woke up and I put my contacts in and one side of my eye was blurry, and then after, I don't even know, like 20 minutes it went away. So I've been focusing on wearing glasses more in comparison to contacts, just because I notice the blurriness is more with contacts. With my glasses, nothing. So that was an interesting one. Just been drinking a lot of water, getting outdoors as much as I can. Briar definitely still runs me wild, so we're outside a lot. But yeah, those are just some little things that I noticed. Okay, this is like another weird thing that I remember from my last pregnancy, like and I think this was lack of hydration one day, but it's kind of like your muscle in the back feels like it's vibrating, you know, like kind of cramping. So I noticed that, and that happened once with Briar, and then so far it's happened once with this baby. So it's just been so interesting to see like correlations of symptoms or like experiences that I had in my first pregnancy and symptoms that I've been having in my second. So yeah, those are the little things that we've been battling with. Briar is still very, very attached. His back molars are coming in, and on top of that he was congested, so all he's wanted to do is nurse. So that has been a challenging. My boobs are definitely tender. So nursing him while having tender boobs is an experience in itself. But it only lasts for like a second or two, and then you get adjusted to it. But I do have to, now that everything is good and he's back to sleeping through the night, we're going to have to cut back on that a little bit. I am going to nurse them both. After the baby comes. So far he's still only nursing before like nap time or bedtime, and then sometimes he'll ask for it in the morning, and so we're gonna 2 to 3 times a day really isn't anything. I'm just not ready to let that go with him, I think. And this is like I said, this is all in my head. But I feel like it's going to be a huge change for him. And just knowing that he still has that one-on-one nursing time, I'm just not ready to take that away from him when such a big change comes. Because I've also heard that when a new baby comes, your toddler can start to regress a little bit. So I'm going to try we're going to try our absolute best to keep things as normal as possible and transition as smoothly as possible. That's all in my head. Like, this is me just talking. I have no idea how it's going to go, but these are just thoughts in my head. So he still loves to nurse. I still don't mind it. There are times for sure when I was like, okay, I don't think I could do this anymore, or, you know, just getting like overwhelmed, touched out, but they were just phases, and I think we're in a pretty good spot right now, so we shall see how that goes. I definitely feel myself becoming a bit more winded when I talk. Like, the energy is just slowly plummeting. Yesterday, we did our maternity photo shoot. Briar was not having it. I don't know if he was hungry or just wanted to do his own thing, but he was not having it, and he wanted nothing to do with Mama. He wanted everything to do with Dada, so him and I only got a few photos. And then right when he got home, it was just Mama, Mama, Mama. And I was like, where was this energy in our photo shoot? Our photographer, Michelle, she's phenomenal. She actually did our first set of maternity photos. She did our Christmas photos. And now she's doing baby number 2 maternity photos. So she does a phenomenal job. I'm very excited. If you're local to our area, I'll link her information below. Because she's phenomenal. And yeah, hopefully we'll get those photos back tomorrow. I think there's like little things that you can do to really help like prep and kind of get you excited. And I think photos are one, even though we were all a little bit congested, but we powered through. And obviously baby shower or baby sprinkle. I remember with Briar, we're not doing anything this time, but I remember with Briar, we had the baby shower, and I was like, okay, now it's getting real. And so, to me, I think the photography session was like, okay, now we really have to kick things in gear. So, let's chat a little bit about what I started doing this past week and a half to really help prepare myself for our home birth. Let's chat about cervix softening. That is something, I don't know if you can hear the chickens in the background. One must be laying an egg because she's doing her hen song. Cervix softening. So from my understanding in the book that I follow that I mentioned in the first video, the cervix softening, you can start around like 36 weeks. We started at like 36 and a half. Sorry. Mr. Oliver is here for some pets. So 36 weeks. So doing the dates, we bought large dates. So I'm doing 3 dates a day. I honestly enjoy dates. So they're said to help soften the cervix. I started also taking evening primrose oil, the supplement. So I take it orally, and then we started doing perineum massages, which was recommended not only in our book, but by the pelvic floor therapist that I had during Briar's pregnancy. And thank you, Oliver, so much. The pelvic floor specialist that I was seeing showed me how to do it, and then I showed Austin how to do it, just because it's not easy to do it on yourself. So Austin and I take it very seriously. He has his gloves and will actually pop the evening primrose oil capsule, and then that's the oil that he'll use to do the perineum massages. You can Google how to do it if that's something you're interested in. But I really think that was something that helped with the no tearing from Briar's birth. So it's just something that we're going to implement again because it worked so well. My pelvic floor specialist or therapist said that you only have to do it for about 2 weeks, like a couple times, like 3 to 4 times per week for like 2 weeks, and then your body gets adjusted to gets not adjusted, but to me, in my mind, it's working like stretching a muscle, and so it'll she said muscle memory will kick in. So we did that for about 2 weeks. So we just started doing that last week. So we'll do it for about 2 weeks, 3 to 4 times per week. Honestly, it's like 3 to 4 minutes. It's not long at all, but it just kind of helps. And then through that, I'll practice breathing. The Built to Birth class that we took that I absolutely love, that I can also link below. Her breathing sequence is 4 seconds in, 6 seconds out. And so that's kind of the breathing technique, because the perineum, like the stretches, can get a little uncomfortable because you want to go to the point where you're feeling a bit of a stretch. And so I just practice my breathing techniques during that time. Breathing is super important. So I've definitely been doing a good amount of breathing. The Built to Birth course that we purchased, she also has some hypnobirthing and meditation audio files that are included, and she does a really good job of leading you through breathing while she prepares you for different stages. So she has hypnobirthing classes for, trying to get pregnant, for pregnancy, for labor, for active labor, for postpartum. She does a really good job with that. So those have been awesome. I've been listening to them while I take a bath. We do not have a tub. We have a shower, but Austin's parents live right around the corner and they have a tub. So I've been taking baths over there, as you can see in the back. Massive bag of Epsom salt. So I've been doing Epsom salt soaks for like 20 minutes, kind of just sitting in the dark listening to the hypnobirthing. So that's been really nice, just to have some me time to practice not only breathing but just kind of getting into the right mindset. Another thing is Nora tea. So my midwife said that you could start taking this whenever. I just started drinking it. So this is a brand I got, Mama Bear, and it's red raspberry leaf, nettle leaf, oat straw, oat nut, and alfalfa. So that's the pregnancy blend that is also supposed to help soften your cervix. So doing the perineum, the dates, and the tea have been pretty consistent. Breathing, like I said, really helps. I made 2 birth playlists with Briar, so I had to go back in and update them a little bit because they were from 2 years ago. But I made a birth mellow playlist and a birth hype playlist. This is funny, and I mentioned it in my birth story from Briar's birth. But when we were driving to the birthing center, this song came on. It was a country song, something with Oklahoma, and it was like my hype song. So I had to add that to my hype playlist. But I just remember sitting in the car like, all right, let's do this, as I couldn't breathe through contraction. So I made sure my hype playlist was up to date and my mellow playlist. The vision that I really have for our birth is twinkle lights, and then in the living room we're going to bring down one of our beds, and then we'll have the tub down here because our bathroom is downstairs. We don't have a bathroom upstairs, so I don't want to have to go up and down. So I'm very, very excited to have that set up, and then we'll have our Spotify playlist in the background. I think it's going to be super beautiful. I'm very, very excited. And let's think. These are a few other things. If you also want to work on practicing your breathing, you could do so while pooping. I believe it was my pelvic floor therapist that taught me this. But instead of pushing, you want to breathe your poop out. So take that deep breath in for 4 seconds and then breathe out for 6. And you'll notice how you don't have to push. The poo just comes out naturally. So that's something that I also do to help prepare. And then, okay, this is another one too. Stubbing your toe. So I don't know, maybe I'm just clumsy because I tend to stub my toe pretty frequently. But instead of freaking out, just controlling the pain. So breathing through it. So those are 2 things. I know some people hold ice. I did not do the ice. I did just breathing through a stub toe and breathing through pooping. So those are some ways to help prepare. I know, super silly, but I think I feel confident that they help me in the first, because especially when you're in labor, you feel the urge to want to push, or feel the urge to want to poop, and that naturally will make you want to push. But if you wanted to kind of, I don't know, breathe through that instead of just bearing down and continuously pushing and pushing and pushing, because you always want to work with your breath, or with your urges, not against your urges, if that makes sense. So I remember when I was in labor with Briar, I felt the urge to push, and this is when he was coming out, and I just wanted to push and push and push. I just wanted him out of the body. And Rebecca, our doula, was work with the urges, the surges. So every time I would feel a surge, that is when I would push. This pregnancy, though, instead of pushing, I want to see if I can just completely work on surrendering and allowing my body to eject. I've heard it's called the eject fetal. I'll have to look up the name. But anywho, it's a way to just kind of surrender to the surges and just allow your body to naturally eject through breathing. So that is one of my little goals. Of course, I don't want to tear, and I want everything to go as smoothly as possible. But those are just little things that I think of. I think when you help yourself to set, like little goals, it kind of gets you excited and helps you prepare a little bit more. We ordered our birth kit. That birth kit will be here this weekend, just for things that we need that is recommended by our midwife. So I'm very excited that that'll be here this weekend. And then truthfully, I think out of all of the things, obviously having the birth kit is important, but the second most important is definitely mindset. So I've been working daily on mindset, as well as positive talk and reminding myself to just surrender to the entire process. And the way that I've been doing that is daily affirmations, the meditation, the hypnobirthing. I've also been looking into Bible verses that help encourage. I have some positive affirmations that I printed out for Briar's pregnancy, and I'm gonna print out a couple more that I like to stick around the room. I did that at the birthing center, and I came across this beautiful prayer from a social media account that I wrote down, and I've just been reading it to myself every day. This is something I definitely want Austin to read to me while I'm going through it. So I'll read it to you. If you're going through birth, I can also put this verse down below and give credit where credit's due. But it's such a beautiful prayer that it's something that I want as a reminder when I'm going through the thick of it, as well as reading it to myself in preparation for labor. So, I will dwell in the shelter of the Most High, and I will find rest in the shadow of the Almighty as I labor and give birth. The Lord alone will be my refuge and my place of safety. He will be my God, and I will trust him completely with this birth. He will surround my birth space with his presence and cover me with his peace. His faithful promises will be my armor and protection. No fear, pain, or chaos will come near me, for I will be hidden under his wings. I will not be afraid of what comes with each contraction, or of what lies ahead. The Lord will be my strength and my song. His perfect love will cast out all fears. Though others may speak fear or doubt, I will stand firm in my faith. No evil will touch me. The atmosphere of this birth will be filled with his glory, and his angels will surround me and my baby. The Lord will be my refuge, and the Most High will be my shelter. No evil will conquer me. No harm will come near my body, my baby, or my home. His angels will be assigned to guard and protect us in all our ways. Because I will trust in his name, Jesus will rescue me, protect me, and strengthen me. When I call on him, he will answer me. He will be with me in every moment of labor, and will deliver me with power and peace. The Lord will sustain me, and his spirit will fill this space. His presence will birth life, safety, and joy. This birth will belong to him, holy, protected, and covered by his hand. In Jesus' name, amen. So, when I read that prayer, I was like, wow, this is beautiful. This is something that I want to include in my birth space. So I wrote it down in my journal, and this with other prayers that I found, I've written down. Dude, I am winded just from speaking. That's when you know you're coming close. Another thing that I've definitely been working on is it's really, really easy to get caught in social media with everyone sharing different opinions. I can't tell you how many comments and videos I've read against home birthing, and I should just stay off social media, but I can't. Like, I would be lying to myself if I could, but I can't. But it's being able to just find that confidence and having that constant reminder that, you know, all experiences are different. I will never judge anybody for what they choose to do, whether they birth at a hospital, at home, with a midwife, whatever you decide to do, it's your experience, and that's all that matters, because at the end of the day, the only one who's going to care about that experience is you. So that's definitely one thing that I've been battling, is kind of trying to cast out those doubts and fears, because I think birth ultimately is scary, but so is getting into your car every day, or, you know, going swimming. I don't know, there's always like fears of possibilities. I mean, I could eat a meal and choke, you know? So and a lot of people will say that, okay, home birth is different because like we have modern medicine where we have places that are safe to give birth. And I completely agree. In that aspect, I just don't feel like that is for me. And I wish more people would be okay with that. Like, okay, like, obviously do what's best for you, you know? I feel like people are just so quick to judge and give opinions. And so that has definitely been one of my battles in my head, is not taking what I read into heart, but just remaining true to what I feel. Like, I not only want for me, but for my family as well. I mean, and this comes to decisions on all things that you do. I feel like we are living in a world where we're just trying to do and I think I'm realizing this for all parents, is that we're living in different times where we're just trying to do obviously what we feel is best with the information given for our children, because we obviously want the best for them. And people are very quick to judge when things go south, but stay silent when things, you know, when nothing happens. So that has been one of my areas that I've been venturing in, is just trying to remain positive and not let the fears overcome, because fears in labor can definitely cause delays, and I don't want that. I just want to have a beautiful, perfect space. We're deciding what to do with Briar and our dog. Austin wants everybody to be a part of it, so I'm really hoping that I do give birth at night, because then Briar will hopefully be sleeping. But I also don't want to add in distractions that would delay or cause stress. So we're still trying to figure out what to do. I have a feeling Briar will end up staying with us, and all will be fine. He's never slept away from us, and I don't know. We'll see what we'll see what we do there. And of course, we don't want like Levi barking all the time. So we may, I don't know. We have some options. We'll see. Kind of something that we're just gonna have to play by ear. I feel like I'm really hoping my labor is very similar. 24 hours. I started feeling like little light contractions at like 12:30, 1 in the morning. And then 24 hours Briar was born. Like, that was just perfect. I think active labor was pretty quick. It was a couple hours. I feel like it would have been faster if we didn't have to drive anywhere. But it went pretty fast. But most of the day we were kind of just like hanging out, making meals, making snacks. I think we went to like Target and Jewel and things like that, and just walked around. So I'm really hoping that we play out the same way. Other little things, starting to meal prep. It's nice to have meals that you don't have to think about. You can just pull out of the freezer and warm, especially when you're in the thick of it. We have to bring down the newborn clothes, wash that, get the bassinet ready, and wash the cloth diapers. I think we're going to do a mixture of like cloth diapers and newborn diapers. But yeah, so I literally can't believe, I feel like I blinked and this pregnancy went by so fast. So I am very excited to welcome a new member in the next couple of weeks. I am winded just from talking, but I just wanted to kind of wrap up in a bow everything we're doing to prepare. Shelly, our midwife, is coming over on Friday. Now we're in the weekly checkup realm, so she's gonna come over Friday. Cheers to almost 38 weeks. This is my guess. My guess is that our baby, I'll have to ask Austin his guess, but my guess is that our baby is going to be another boy. I believe that he is going to arrive Earthside the week of Memorial Day. So maybe like the 25th or the 26th, which would make me over my due date, but I don't know, for some reason I have a feeling. And weight-wise, Briar was 8.3. I think our baby is going to be somewhere around maybe 8.6, maybe a little bit heavier in ounces. The weight gain definitely has been different from the first pregnancy in comparison to the second. With my first pregnancy, I only put on 15 pounds, but I started at a heavier weight. This pregnancy, I'm up 35 pounds. So I'm getting kind of close to where I was at the end with Briar. But of course, like if you start at a higher weight, you're most likely to gain less. In comparison, if you start at a lower weight, you're likely to gain a little bit more. So definitely just kind of keeping an eye on that, kind of not really, but just curious. So yeah, those are my guesses. I am so excited. We still haven't found a solid name. We have a name that we really like, but for a boy. The girl name, I think I'm gonna have to do some convincing if we do have a girl to Austin, because I love the name that we picked out, or that I picked out, and he's not too convinced, but I think I can do some convincing. Picking names is actually harder than you think. So I feel like it's a heavy responsibility. It's something that they're gonna be called their entire life. So we're still on the hunt. Ooh, and Michelle just sent me the photos. So I am gonna go look through those because I am very excited. So until next update, I'll probably do one every week until baby comes. But this one is absolutely my longest, just because I wanted to recap on everything that I'm doing and I've done to help prepare for this home birth. If you have any questions, I'm not an expert, but I can definitely answer to the best of my ability, as well as point you in the right direction. So till next time.